This is Jamie with That's Incredible, and today I am just feeling like some snowflakes. I still have a few Christmas cards I would like to make and send out, so I was thinking let's pop out some quick, fast snowflakes. What do you think? So we're going to use Snow Flake Wishes. Hold on. This stamp set comes from the Stampin Up this July through December winter mini or holiday mini catalog. And so we are in our last month of it. So I'm just getting my stamp cleaner nice and wet so it'll be ready to use after all of my stamping. So with the Snowflake Wishes, I don't have anything really like planned other than I just want to create with it. So that's easy enough. So some of the things that I've decided that I would like to use with my Snowflake Wishes is some silver paper from Silver Foil Paper. And then I also have some Balmy Blue. Isn't that just so pretty? And then I really feel like I want to use what is that? Is it Snowflake? The Wishes paper that coordinates with this stamp set. Because, you know, I had to just have all of it. Let's see if I can find it here. Ooh, maybe some of that vellum would look good. All right, here it is. Okay, so I store my paper, my DSP, after I've opened it up in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. Okay, so all right. So that's where I keep all of that, and then of course I have this vellum and all of my scraps in a bag. Balmy Blue, silver foil, and then of course I have just some Whisper White cardstock, and then I'll get coordinating cardstock as I need it. I think we're going to start by needing some Balmy Blue, so let me go ahead and grab that. All right, I think that we are about ready to get started. So this is the creativity process. I'm just going to see what comes of this stamp set. All right, so let me grab my trimmer. All right, and I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer here, and I'm going to, this is gonna be my card base. So I'm going to, and it starts off at 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to cut it on the landscape side at 5.5. So now I have 2 card bases. Now I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to score it using the light gray blade at 4.25. All right, just like that. So there is our first card base, and then I'm going to take this other, and I'm just going to trim it at 4.25. So I have basically 2 card fronts, and I can cut them down smaller if I need. Okay, so I have this card front, and I think I'm going to use a variety of blues with this. Just not sure, right there. All right, so let's see. I think we'll take Balmy Blue, and I'll use Misty Moonlight, And what about some pool party? I think pool party might look good with those colors. What do you think? And maybe some gray granite? All right, so let's go ahead, and I am going to stamp a variety of the snowflakes. So here's all of my snowflakes. I'm going to open it up, and I keep my dies right inside there. And I'm just going to pull these two out. So there's all my dies. See, there we go. And I'm going to grab some acrylic blocks of various sizes. Okay. Set my inks to the side. Now let's go ahead, and I really think I am going to start with this one. Ooh, on that block, and then I'll put this one on this block, and this one on that block, and this one here. There we go. Let me grab a couple more blocks here. All right, so here's some more blocks. We have so many snowflakes, we just need lots and lots of blocks. And then that way, they'll be ready to just lay down wherever we decide. Now I have this block, and it is just super old, and I've sanded it, and it still works. It's just ugly. All right, so let's go ahead with these stamps. And first, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually make two of these at one time because, you know, why not? We have all the stuff out. We might as well just make two. All right, I'm going to start with my gray granite. And we're just going to I'm kind of seeing like a snowflake pattern going from the bottom left to the top right on both of these little panels. So I'm going to start off with this first one that's got three little snowflakes because I don't want gray to be a primary color. And I'm going to use my pad here, and I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on because I don't want my gray to be very dark. Okay. I think that looks good for that one. And take my stamp cleaner. That way it'll be ready. It can dry a little bit while I use the other ones. And then I'm going to take this one here. Stamp off. Stamp on. Stamp off. Stamp on. There we are. All right. So that's, I think, all for the gray for right now. We can always come back and add more if we need to. Now I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight, and you really could do this in any assortment of blues that you have, and give it a good stamp. Hold it down and lift. Ooh, isn't that just so pretty? Down and lift. Okay, and I'm going to do two on this one. There we are. All right, now let's do this smaller one in the Misty Moonlight. There we are. And I think that's enough of the Misty Moonlight. Now I'm going to take my Balmy Blue and I'm going to stamp this big one in Balmy Blue. All right. So I will grab another piece of 8.5 by 11 Whisper White, and I will grab my 12-inch trimmer. I'm going to go ahead and put this off over here. I'm going to cut this at 5.5, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate my paper, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, just like that. Now I think I'm also going to take a piece of this Balmy Blue, looks just like this, and I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to start it at 4 1/4 by 5.5. Since I have 2 cards, this will give me 2 mats. But then I think I would like to have a little bit of a white edge. So I'm going to actually trim this again down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I'll do the same with the other piece of Balmy Blue here. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, here we are. Now I have 2 card fronts, and I'm going to take the 2 pieces that I stamped, and I'm going to trim those down to 4 by 5 1/4. So 4, and then I'm going to take some off the top, so 5 1/4. And there's the first panel. I'm going to do the second one at 4 by 5 1/4. All right. Go ahead and set my trimmer aside, grab all my pieces, throw my scraps away. So there's the first card and the second card. Go ahead and use my bone folder. And then I'm going to put this piece on, and then this piece on, and then I'll just add some gems, and that card will be finished. Quick, easy, 2 cards done in no time. Okay. See, I have a nice little thin white border. Then go ahead and take this piece, put glue around the edge, and center that right on the front there. Okay, let's go ahead and do our second one. Okay, go ahead and center that right on the center of that card front. Give it a good press. Take the next piece. And I'm going to go ahead and just slap that on. All right, let's go ahead and I'll grab my basic rhinestone jewels. And we are going to dress these up just a little bit. All right, so go ahead and take my piercing tool, and we'll Add a couple various sized gems or rhinestones to the insides of these snowflakes. Now the bigger snowflakes get the bigger rhinestones, and then the medium ones get the medium rhinestones, and then of course the smaller snowflakes, I'm just putting the smallest rhinestone in there. All right, so there we are, just a little bit of bling. Forgot this one right here in the middle. There we go. And ta-da, look at that. So pretty and so simple. Let me go ahead and bling up the other one. So there's that. And a big one. And a big one. And another big one. All right, so now we'll do medium size. And then we have some small. There we go. And so may your season sparkle. Let's see, what other sentiments are there in this set? Snowflake Wishes for Merry Christmas. Our friendship is one of a kind. In the coldest moments of the year, my heart is warm because you are near. Thank you so much, and Happy Hanukkah. I think we'll just leave the inside blank, and then that way you can write whatever message you would like. So, all right, that is my first card. Are really scared of watercoloring. They think it's a mess. Many of my friends really hate watercoloring. And no matter how hard I try to get them to just love it and just go with it, they still struggle. So this video today is to show you these markers I bought that my husband had and I created. These are called Eye Candy Supply Watercolor Brush Pens. They are water-based and very blendable, and the colors are absolutely fabulous. So let's go ahead and open up this container. I'll slide them out a little bit so you can see it comes with a water brush and all of those beautiful colors, okay? Just like that. So if you would like to purchase these after the video, I will also put a link in the box below or in the description below for these. I'm not going to use this particular set because this one's a set that is going to be going out soon. But I have my own set. But I don't have mine in the package anymore, okay? I just have mine. So I have chosen these colors. We have a purple, a dark blue, a marine, and a light blue. So, and then, of course, I have my water brush pen. And then I am going to be using Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is the absolute best cardstock for blending these watercolors. I have tried, and you know what? You know, for a good blend, your paper makes a difference. So I bought this huge pad, $13.99 at Hobby Lobby. I probably got it half off or with a coupon, and I've had this pad for quite a while. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I did this one before the video, and I have some ideas for a card I'd like to do. So this one is just currently just drying, air drying, but I can always heat dry it later if it's not quite ready. So let's go ahead and show you how I got this look. So this piece of cardstock is the Bristol Smooth, and it is 4 inches by 11 inches, okay? So I just took one of these sheets and I just cut it down into 4-inch pieces. So first off, you know, watercoloring is scary because it's really an organic feel and it's hard for people to just let it go. And that's the benefit of the markers, because you can really control where the color goes. And then once you put your water down, you kind of have more control using a marker than maybe a brush. So let's go ahead, and I'm just gonna take this, and it doesn't look like it's coming out very well, but it's just fine because I'm going fast, and I'm just doing a zigzag all the way down. Now these are gonna go on a card base that is going to be just a regular A2 size. That's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And now I'm going to add some purple here and there. So with the markers, you kind of have a little more control before the blending starts. Like you can decide where the color goes. You know, when you're using a palette of watercolors, it kind of can get away from you faster than you would like. And I'm going to come in with the light blue, and I'm just going to add it. So I kind of know what I'm looking for. And there's no rhyme or reason. I just want these colors to blend nicely when I add my water. Okay. Now I could also use these to actually slow down and color in images, but for this technique today, I am just randomly, you know, just putting color down. Okay. All right, now here is where the magic happens. That doesn't look very pretty, but let's go ahead. I hope I have enough water in this water brush. Let's make sure I have another water brush back up in case I run out. I guess I should have filled it first. So I'll go ahead and I'll just quickly fill this one before we get started because I really need a lot of water. So I'm going to go ahead and open that, and I have just a small little bottle of water here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill it up over the trash so that if I miss that little tiny hole, at least it won't go all over the floor. Okay, and whatever paper's in there can soak it up. All right, so this water brush is full now. I'm going to go ahead and put that back on. There we go. So we have plenty of water to get started with our project. All right, so with the water brush, you just want to squeeze a little water out and then let your brush just kind of blend it. And the more water you put down, the more organic and the more those colors will blend. Okay? So I'm just squeezing water down. I'm kind of in control of where those colors are going. Just like that. All right. Doesn't that look just beautiful? Now I'm going to take, I have piles of dry baby wipes around here. Normally I would take a paper towel. And I'm just going to soak it up along the edges to kind of, so I don't have such harsh edges. There we go. There we go. And now I'm just going to set that aside to dry. So my first one, using the same technique, is just about dry. So I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to set it aside. And I'm going to come back in with the first one I did. And when you clean your water brush, you just want to squirt water out until it runs clear. And the brush is clean. Done and done. Now I'm going to take this paper off because it is wet and I don't want to work on a wet surface. There we are. Nice clean surface here. Now I'm going to bring this one back in, and there are a couple little wet spots, so I'm just going to grab my heat gun and I'm just going to heat set those couple little wet spots to help them dry just a little quicker. Look how pretty that looks after it's dry. I'm going to go ahead and just take some heat to the back, and that'll help minimize the warping that happens when you are using watercolor paper. And it's so shimmery. All right, so I think that's pretty dry. Look at this other one is drying nicely. We can go ahead and hit it with the heat gun too since it's out. And they look similar, but they're not the same. So keep in mind that no two pieces will turn out the exact same. It's so pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit the back of this one as well, just to help prevent the warping. All right, so now we have two beautiful watercolor pieces. And I noticed here on this one I just did, see how I still have some brush strokes? I'm going to come back in with my water brush pen, add just a little water, and blend that out, okay? Just like that. Then I'll hit it again with my heat gun. Oh, look, I have a couple spots that I just missed. So we'll go ahead and get that one too, right here. Go ahead and blend that. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and hit it with the heat gun, and you'll never even be able to tell. That water just wants to run around on the paper and not soak in. All right, so there we go. Now we have our two pieces, and we'll set that one aside while we work solely on this one. Okay, so I know that it's dry, and I am going to use some beautiful snowflakes from Snow Flake Wishes by Stampin Up. I will link to these also below in the comments. And I'm just going to, and I already have them all mounted on blocks. I'm going to take this big one and I'm going to heat emboss. Use my embossing buddy, and I'm just going to rub it all over so that the powder doesn't stick where I don't want it to. Okay, and I'm going to put white heat embossing on this piece, and I'm going to keep it just like this. And this panel here will make two cards, so I want to kind of think about that when I am placing my snowflakes. So there's two very large snowflakes, and then I have some smaller ones here. And I cannot see where I've already stamped, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do sprinkle my powder on this, and that way it should be good to go. All right, so I have my white embossing powder here. And I just use a little spoon. Bring that over here into the camera to minimize the amount that gets on my paper. All right, so here we go. You can kind of see it there. Make sure I didn't miss any down there. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my heat gun again, and I'm going to just melt it. so it gives it a really pop off that watercolor, but still kind of blend into that white background. Look at that. Isn't that just stunning? And then I can kind of go back and I can decide where I would like to add some more snowflakes, because now I can see where I've already put them down. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead, set that powder aside, get my embossing ink pad. There we go. One there, one there, one there, and then I have this little one there, one there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put powder on those and then decide if I need any more after that. Okay. There's one, and I know there was one somewhere over here. Okay, there we are. Did I put one up in that corner? I did. Okay, so I think that's going to be just perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and move all of these. And I should have torn this off before, but I did not. So I'm going to lightly tear this piece off so I can dump the excess powder off back into my container here. All right, so that's done. Go ahead and set that there. Bring this back in. Go ahead and heat set it. And you can just see that white just turns bright white on that beautiful watercolor. All right, so there we are. Isn't that just gorgeous? I'm going to go ahead and grab that other piece, and I'm going to go ahead and get that done too, since we have all the embossing stuff out right now. Go ahead and use my anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to find my big snowflake here. Okay, two big ones. Couple smaller ones. Oh, I just not sure where those went. It's kind of hard to see on this white paper. So we will just go ahead and add our embossing powder. There we are. Go ahead and heat set that. that looks good. So let's go ahead and add some more snowflakes. I'm going to go ahead and add this grouping. One right there. One right there. One right there. And that should probably fill up my area quite nicely. Okay, so I had one in this area, one up here, and one over here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, there we are. Look at that. See if I missed any spots there. Perfect. Go ahead and heat set those. Isn't that stunning? All right, I think everything is good. Oh, look at, I don't think that one right there got very good on the tip of that snowflake. But we're good now. So I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. Stack my snowflakes because I have every snowflake on a block right now. I'm going to go ahead and take my embossing powder, put it right back in my, even with a big container, I still can't seem to keep the mess contained. Okay. And I normally use like a coffee filter, but I have misplaced those. That's what happens when I clean. I can't remember exactly where I put them. So put my spoon back in there. And we're set that there. And we are good to go. All right, so here are enough for 4 backgrounds, or 2 if I decide to do slimline. But I think I want to stick to the A2 size. And so it's already at 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 5 1/4. So there's 5. And this is just using my paper trimmer. 5 1/4. And then I think I like this end better than this end. So I'm going to trim that off at 5 1/4 as well. All right. So there's this much waste. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut this one at 5 1/4. And there we go. 4 card fronts. All they really need now is a card base and a sentiment. All right, so I'm going to grab some extra thick Whisper White, and I have 2 sheets here because this cardstock makes wonderful card bases. So I'm going to cut, first I'm going to score this at 5 1/2 using my light gray blade, because why score 4 times when I can score twice? And cut this at 4 1/4. So there's 2, and then I'll do the same thing to this other piece. I'm going to put it at 5 1/2. Use my light gray scoring blade. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 again. All right, so there are 4 cards bases. Set those aside. I feel like this has still got embossing powder. My friend Patty bought this cute little like desk vacuum, and so I'm just gonna take it. I'm not sure where she got it, but isn't it just cute? Gets all that powder and stuff up. Probably one of my favorite tools that I need to have on my desk at all times. Okay, so I've scored and burnished all of these. Okay, so that's 4 card bases, just like that. Now I need to decide before I put them on my card bases if I want to put a sentiment on here. And I really feel like I could do like 2 landscape type. Ooh, that powder doesn't look quite dry. Ah, there we go. And then I could do 2 up and down. What do you think? Like that? That looks like a plan to me. So those 2, and then these 2 are going to be up and down. And I'm going to look at my sentiments. And I just really like our friendship is, or Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. And then on the inside, I'm going to put, in the coldest moments of the year, my heart is warm because you are near. Okay, so then we'll have both the inside and the outside stamped. So here is the Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to line it up right there. Let me grab my stamp platform. Because sentiments, you know, if you screw up a sentiment on your beautiful background, you've screwed up your whole card. And, well, then you have to try and figure out how to fix it. And that's just a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Stamparatus. I'm going to put my card base right in here. Okay, and I have 2 magnets. And this is watercolor paper, so it's kind of warped my paper a little bit. So I want to make sure I'm able to hold it down the best I can without getting into it. So I'm going to decide, I think this piece will look better flat or long ways, because then when I stamp, it's not going to stamp onto that embossed part. Okay, so that looks pretty even, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm going to grab, I feel like a nice, bold, black sentiment. So I'm going to hit this with my Tuxedo Black Momento ink. And the nice thing is, if it's not black or bold enough, I am able to stamp it again, okay? So let's go ahead and stamp it one time. Give it a good press. And I feel like maybe just a little bit blacker or darker. So I'm just going to ink that up one more time. And, oh, that is it. Look at that. Okay. Isn't that just gorgeous? Okay. So now I'm going to take the other one that I wanted landscape. They might all end up landscape. I think they will. Okay, so I'm going to put that there and that there. Check to make sure that's where it'll go. I'm going to move that over just a little bit. Ooh, I seriously just dropped my ink pad. I don't want to put my fingers in it. So let's go ahead and take a second to clean that mess up. And if you rub, this is just a microfiber cloth. Just rub it around. Makes it easier to press. Having a little less friction there. Okay, there you are. And voila. I'm going to go ahead and grab my next one. And notice this is stamping in the exact same place. I don't have to reposition it. It fits perfectly. And yep, double stamping is the way to go, just so I get that nice, dark, crisp image. Beautiful. Okay, and one more here. Look at that. 4 cards in no time at all, let me tell you. Now I'm going to go ahead, you know that S isn't very good, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put a little more ink on that portion of the stamp, and I'm going to just give it a little extra press right there. Oh, much, much better. There we go. And set that aside. Put my... Take my baby wipe, wipe off my stamps. I use my baby wipe, or I use my, I have the stamp cleaner, but you know, my space is kind of a mess right now because I've been creating. I'm going to take that off, and then I said I was going. All right, so let's start this one over. Go ahead and put my magnets in. I'm going to peel that off. I'm going to set it correctly in the center, how I want it. There we are. Go ahead and pick it up. And now we're starting over. Right there. Okay, so now when I put this on, it'll cover that up. Lordy, lordy. Okay, let's go ahead and do this again. So here's my mess up. I'm going to just come back here, and I'm going to grab my little sand eraser. I got a little smudge there. Just get that cleaned up as much as I can, because that was supposed to be the back. And we'll go ahead and we'll stamp again. And you know, I'm glad I did this, because you know, sometimes people make mistakes, and there is usually a way to fix it, and nobody's going to ever know that that is underneath. Okay, so there's my mistake. Flip it over. Okay, and I'll reburnish these as soon as I'm done. There we go. Not quite even. Let me take my, there we go. That's better. Okay. And the last one, get it flipped, open, like this. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Oh, did it again. I am not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to just set that over there. I'm going to take this. I am going to take my baby wipe. I'm going to just stick it in there, set that over there, and I will deal with that part later. Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'm going to take our 4 card bases again, and I'm going to re-burnish those edges just so they're nice and flat. Make sure I get the front on all of these. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to put glue all over the back. I'm going to take my first one, and I'm going to just center this right in the middle. And I'm going to hold it down. Now this watercolor paper, keep in mind, it did warp. So before I send the, oh my goodness, I smeared it. I thought that would be dry by now. Oh my goodness. Well, this one is going to have to go through some adaptations before I can obviously mail it out. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to heat set all of these. Look at that, smeared. That one is smeared. So I guess it doesn't really matter now. I'm going to have to do something to make these look like I meant it. Damn it. Darn it. Dang it. Oh, fudge. But I'm not giving up now. They are going on the card fronts. This is not my first rodeo. I can figure out how to make this work. I'm going to go ahead and, that's just a scrap piece of glitter paper. I'm just using it to push down over that sentiment. And we're going to see what we can do to fix these. Because, you know, you just never, it's not going to be the end of the world. I promise. Set that there. I wonder if I take my sand eraser. That helps a little. Okay. I wonder if I can do it on this one. That's not too bad. Maybe that one will be fine. Maybe I should be less of a perfectionist and just let it go. Let it have that organic, natural feel. I'll set that over the top. But you know, I have an electric eraser, so I'm going to grab that and see if that works too. I know that one is way too smeared to save, but maybe I could save these other two. Okay? All right, let's just... That kind of helps. Okay. Bring this one back. By golly, I think I may have saved it. I'm just going to take this black pen and just, there we go. Look at that. We saved it. We saved 3. I don't think we can save this one, but I'm going to try. You know, it can't get any worse than it is right now. I'm just going to sand erase over the whole thing. Let's just see. Because, you know, my thing is still mounted. That's not bad. That's not too bad. That might have saved it. All right, I think that saved it. I think we're good. I'm not even going to re-stamp it. I think that this little mono sand eraser came in handy today. All right, so looky there. Now I think we'll add some rhinestones and we are going to call these cards done. Here are my rhinestones. Rhinestone cowboy. Don't ask. Okay, I have not had enough coffee this morning. Okay, so I'm going to put a big rhinestone there and a little one there. And one right in the middle of that one. I think that looks good. You can't even tell. Look at that. And this big white one that you can hardly see, but it's there. I know it's there. I'm going to give it a rhinestone to bring out all of its beauty and glory. All right. I'm going to put a rhinestone there. Get another one and put it right there. And one more, because you know, you can't have an even number. You got to have an odd number. Okay. There's those. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Put a big one. And, ooh, that one stuck to my finger. Let's see if we can, oh, There we go. Like that. This one's only going to get 3. It's not as snowflakey as the rest, but that's okay. 3 is an odd number. It looks great. And one more big one for here in the middle, and right there, and right here. Uh-oh, we're gonna have to find one more because this one here needs 1, 4, 4, and I guess we can just put one randomly because it has to have an odd number. There you go, 5. And there we have 4 cards. Beautiful, no 2 are identical. 43 minutes with all the mistakes, so that's awesome. We'll see if we can edit it down. Have a great day because that's incredible.